Greetings, everyone. So, I was thinking about a few things today, and I thought this would be a good video. Contentious narcissists. You will feel their contention, their contempt, their disdain, dislike, holier than thou, superiority, control. You will feel all those things when you interact with any narcissist. They're always contentious. They're always contentious. This is just the basic Google dictionary, Oxford Language Dictionary. Adjective: causing or likely to cause an argument. Controversial. Involving heated argument. The socioeconomic plan had been the subject of contentious debate. Of a person given to arguing or provoking argument. A contentious politician, haranguing a crowd. That doesn't sound like the last 4 years, does it? Labeling people as anti-something, taking away HIPAA laws, taking away medical privacy. Anyways, so you will sense it in their voice. In fact, I would recommend anyone to pay very close attention to people's voices. You can learn a lot in how a person speaks, where their inflections are, where they don't have an inflection, high-pitched, squeaky. Or if you guys have ever experienced a contentious narcissist the way I have, when you talk to them, they will really sound like this, like they're really disgusted. They're angry. And honestly, a lot of them are, and they're ready to blow, because that is how narcissists regulate their system. They're really screwed up. They don't regulate it through self-care. They don't even, a lot of them regulate it with unhealthy habits. But their only way that they can let off steam, oftentimes, is to rage on someone. How many times have we seen really scary, narcissistic ragers at stores, in traffic? The ones that are extremely rageful, those are dangerous. Best to just, if you can, don't engage with them. They'll hurt you or get you, you know what. But yeah, I was just thinking about Christmas and past experiences. And they're always contentious. Looking for a fight. Talking about the latest gossip to bring someone down. Talking about how their wife gained 10 pounds after she had a baby. And I won't even touch politics. You guys know I don't do politics. I think it's just a big show, personally. All of it. But they love to drag you into their madness. I had that experience with people, and I don't know if they were narcissists, to be honest, but the perpetual victim. Oh my God. How many times have you guys heard the perpetual victim go on and on and on and on and on and on about their boss is this, about their coworkers this, about their mom this, about their brother this. Nothing's ever their fault. I veer away from those people immediately. But it's always it's always like this contemptuous, stressed sound in their voice. Like they're ready to just go off. And all the things that they're surrounded with, like in as far as situations, have nothing to do with their behavior. Nothing. Deflecting any responsibility, which is their, I was going to say go-to, but it's not even a go-to. It's just, that's built into them. They don't do anything wrong. And trust me, a lot of them will give the fake apology or the fake humility, all that. It's all fake. It's not real. They always have a bone to pick with someone. I was reflecting on some experiences with narcissists that I had. Every time we would go out to a public place, this person would berate mostly women or men working at the store, at the retail store. And I mean, she wouldn't just say they're stupid, ignoramus. Sometimes she would throw in a racial slur, which you guys know. I don't agree with that at all. I got away from them. But it's like when you watch, I don't watch violent movies, but it's like when you're watching a violent movie or a violent series where there's like some type of war going on and all the soldiers are all ready to just like take blood, kill people, and they're excited about it. That's how she would act. It was just contentious. Everything was contentious. And with that person, it was always put downs. Put down, put down, put down. Put down family members, put down friends, so-called friends. Put down the retail people. Put down the guy next to you when you're at the stoplight. Put down the lady who's walking her dog across the street. They're such miserable people. They're miserable people, and they want everyone around them to be miserable. And they want to control. I mean, me personally, in my own personal experience and the research that I've done, I feel that the top 3 qualifications or characteristics of a narcissist: 1, no empathy; 2, controlling behavior; and 3, you know what? I'm just going blank, you guys. Entitlement. And honestly, the contentious narcissists they love to mix in, because it's always a throw it all in dish with these folks. They love to mix in all their entitled feelings and entitled beliefs about themselves with the put downs, with the I had an old YouTube channel where I talked a lot about their facial expressions and their tones of their voice. The narcissistic smirk. They make a lot of noises, honestly, like an animal. Like they might Let's say you went out to the store with a narcissist, and all you're doing is walking, right? That's all you're doing, because, it doesn't take, they're already looking for something to complain about, to be about, the B word. And you're walking too slow for them. And then they'll be like, can't you move any faster? I mean, it honestly doesn't matter with these folks. Because next week you could go out and walking the same pace, they're going to tell you that you were walking too fast. Which also, too, would be put under gaslighting. Because to keep you confused is very important to them. I have found a lot of really extreme narcissists, malignant types are just absolutely insane over politics. I don't mean every person, you guys should know that, but a lot of them where they're pushing it down your throat and you're an effing moron because you don't believe the way they do. I believe a lot of those folks are narcissists because narcissists by nature don't feel you have any decent thoughts in your head, one, and two, nobody has any other decent opinions besides themselves. I was listening to a video on Law and Crime yesterday. No, not Law and Crime. Trying to think of his name. Andrew Gold. Andrew Gold was interviewing someone. She's an old-time conspiracy theorist. I believe she used to be a media reporter. Anyways, she was explaining that one of the higher up news reporters, when you would work in the news station with this person, everyone was instructed, don't be funnier than that person, don't be smarter than that person, don't be happier, whatever it was. All narcissism. That person, drenched in insecurity, cannot have anyone looking smarter than him, funnier, whatever it is. Can't help think of the old 80s song, don't want no short man. You guys should know. They are always contentious. Look, and their facial expressions, I'm trying to explain it. They'll tighten up their face. They'll squint. Always just nasty. Whereas I'm polar opposite. I'm always smiling. I mean, I have bad days. I mean, I'm going through cancer treatment. But I'm always smiling away. Even when I was younger, I was like this. Everybody would say you just got so much spark in you. And a nurse recently told me, she's like, you have, because based on what's happening, you've got too much life in you. Essentially, we can't let you go. You got too much life in you, which is true. And I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. But they always got a scowl on their face. Or they're always, they actually use that as a method of control as well. They'll just give you a dirty look. That's also, I think that's the dog whistle. The dog whistle took me a long time to understand. Michelle Nieves did a whole bunch of really good videos on the dog whistle. It took me a long time to understand it. But that is some freaking coercive, evil stuff there. That's when the narcissist is going to do things to you or say things to you that are going to hurt you, that are going to make you feel bad, that are going to scare you, put you off balance. And all the people that are surrounding you don't know what the narcissist is doing. Like a dog whistle. Nobody else can hear it, but you can hear it. You hear the dog whistle. It's really sick. It's coercive control, which is illegal in the UK by now. So it's always just contentious, and they talk like this, and it's like, what do you want? What do you want? Or can't you ever get anything right? We should have known she'd make us late. It's always her. If you've ever been scapegoated or the black sheep, you guys know. It's always your fault. You can be praised in universities for your intellect. You can score really high, like I did on a lot of tests. You can be on the dean's list in high school, the dean's list in college, continuously. But yet your relative's going to tell you that you're the biggest effing moron that has ever walked the planet, the narcissist, right? And they'll say it with contempt. Like, why do you think you're anything? Like, you're nothing. My only ex-husband, he said, you ain't shit without me, which was completely a lie. And I've forgiven him. I've forgiven him for whatever happened. But they're always just so nasty. It's like the nasty neighbor. I've dealt with those before, a few times. They get fixated on you. And again, everything is stemming from insecurities. One of the former neighbors that I had here, I'm trying to keep my language clean today. Just the biggest imp would constantly move my flowers. He would constantly, I know because I caught him doing it. He would move my door decorations. Complete boundary violation. Technically, it might have been criminal. I don't know. The whole 4 years, the first 4 years I lived here, it was nonstop. And it was pointless to tell anyone. One, you can't prove it. And what I've learned from all of these things historically, nobody's going to do anything about it. I did have an incident back when I lived in West Allis, Wisconsin, that I got a decent cop that did do something. But it's, few and far between. But they just, which is a form of gaslighting, by the way. Because if you're constantly, and this was after my hip replacement, he would constantly move my door rug. And it wasn't only that it was disgusting, but I would have very close calls to tripping really badly. It was, he's dickless, completely dickless. And then later there was violence in the house and just a whole bunch of stuff. But anyways, they don't have like the courage to do things like the masculine, healthy male way. So they're just the B word. They're the B word. But the contempt that they feel towards you, actually the contempt that they direct towards you is really toward themselves. Because anyone that is feeling as inadequate as that and constantly has to put other people down, scare them, mistreat them, talk down to them, minimize them, make them feel inadequate. Or one of my favorites is when they completely ignore you. It's called inclusiveness. I believe that is called, where they don't include you. They love that. That would be like your whole entire office gets a memo, or I'm not a memo, but your whole entire office gets an email about a certain something in the office, like maybe a meeting, and you're the only one that didn't get the email. Stuff like that. It's to make you feel like you're not good enough. And the sooner that you can recognize these things in life, the happier you're going to be. You just cut it out. And I'm an extreme person, as you guys know. So I would say your best bet is to get out of that job. And it's why so many people will tell you, do not engage. I mean, just look at some of the things that had happened in the SPTV community, etc. I'm just using generics. But the one who wants a parade, basically. You see what happens when you continue to engage? Don't engage. Even Streets talked about with certain individuals, just don't engage. You know? You're not going to change who they are. You're not going to change the insanity of their thoughts. You know, I even learned that years ago before I understood what unhealthy behaviors were, etc., narcissism. I learned that years ago. It's that old it's that old saying, like, someone's going to argue with you. The sky's blue, the sky's blue, the sky's blue. The other person's saying, the sky's red, the sky's red, the sky's red. And it just goes on and on. It never gets anywhere. And heaven forbid you're around like a group of people doing this. Especially like in mind-controlled environments. You know? So what do you do when you're dealing with a contentious narcissist? Or if you just happen to have some kind of communication with them for whatever reason it is. And everybody who wants to whine about the word narcissist, because everyone's got their panties in a bunch because maybe they think they're a narcissist, or maybe they don't like the term. I don't know. Just change it for abuser. It's not hard. Or you could change it to manipulative person. How hard is that? I mean, if you happen to be a manipulative person, maybe you're scared that you're a narcissist. I know I'm not. Come to my apartment, you'll find out how fast I'm not a narcissist. Yeah, but weirdly enough, a lot of us do engage in a few of the narcissistic behaviors sometimes. Because maybe we grew up around it. But it doesn't mean you're a narcissist. Or sometimes something really upsets you. And maybe you, because your emotions are all up in a tawdry, then you do something that's not like you, normally. But the difference between you and a person who's a narcissist or a sociopath, a narcissist won't admit that they were wrong. And a sociopath might not even have the cognitive thoughts that they did anything wrong. I mean, honestly, when you think about the last 4 or 5 years of the world, how much contentiousness did we see? No blank, no job. I mean, it's just, do not engage, Do not engage. And they sure did try to pull us into the game, didn't they? I'm rereading this book, Busting Loose from the Money Game. I had read this many years ago with a friend of mine. It's very metaphysical in nature, and it just talks about, these various games that we participate in. The first one is a human game, and then the other game is the money game. It's written by Robert Schneider. Robert Schneider's grandfather created Manpower. And Robert, as a young boy, wanted to know what the secret to life was, etc. And his grandfather was revealing like certain things, but he died before he was able to reveal everything. But, the reason I bring all that up is everything that we participate in many ways is a game. You guys ever been, I'm old school, right? Have you ever been around a person who would play Monopoly with you, and if they didn't win, they would freaking rage out and throw the board all over, and all the little pieces to the game would be all over the room, and then you'd get scared because they were raging so much? I have. And then you just stop playing that game with them. Back in those days, we didn't know what a narcissist was. So honestly, I feel like if you go into a new situation and you're around a person who's like really contentious and they're talking like this and they're like, oh, why did you do that? Always pointing the finger back at you to what did you do wrong? Or their favorite, fear, obligation, and guilt. Man, I'm telling you guys, man, if I tell you anything, be familiar with FOG, fear, obligation, and guilt. Me, I'm not obligated to an MF soul. I'm not obligated to an MF soul. I mean, I have responsibilities, but I'm not obligated. And I am fearless. Fearless. Guilt, the minute that I'm around a person constantly trying to make me feel guilty about something, like maybe they're making me feel guilty about eating a certain food, or maybe they're making me feel guilty because I'm trying to think of an example. I don't know, I didn't wear the right mascara, whatever it is. I'm done. 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 Just done. It's a method of control. Control this, and I walk away. And me personally, I have to be careful because law of attraction states like attracts like, which is true. I don't need to go over it again and again. Narcissists attract empaths, empaths attract narcissists. But you have to be mindful of your thoughts too. Because your thoughts create your world. I'm not sure how I attracted the disease I have. I don't know. I think there's a lot involved. And it's my suspicion that 1 in 5 women get this. If you go online, there's various sites will tell you 1 in 8 women get breast cancer. And then some say 1 in 9. I believe it's 1 in 5. And maybe even higher. And I think there's way more that I'm not allowed to talk about on YouTube. I think there's way more involved. But anyways, just a few things to watch. If they got that funny little voice and they're talking like this, and they're like, why'd you do that? Like, what are you thinking? Trying to make you feel guilty, trying to make you feel bad, minimizing your accomplishments, minimizing the fact that it took you 20 minutes to drive to the meeting. You also have to think about, why is it their business that they would even comment on that? So that's it, you guys. I hope this is a little nugget. Have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Peace.